Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans. Welcome to Talking in Ovals. How's everybody doing out there on this Monday, September 29th, 2025? It is almost spooky season. It's almost October. Dave, what's going on, brother?
I am trying to navigate this week. My fiance is gone, so I'm kind of home by myself and
just walking in circles. I'm surprised you were able to find your way to your.
No, I'm walking in ovals.
Walking in ovals. There we go. That's all we do. Yes,
no,
yes,
it's just,
I love it.
It's just weird, like you just come home and there's nobody to talk to. You just kind of sit there and just do your own thing. It's weird. Cool.
So for those keeping score at home, it is episode number 160 today. We've reached a pretty good mark there, Dave. We're getting up there. We're climbing up to episode 200 and we're having a great time doing it. So wherever you're watching from, whether it is X, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Kick, we appreciate you all. Make sure you give us a follow and all that good stuff. If you're listening to this later via podcast form, please give us 5 stars, leave a comment, and we'll get back to it. We don't bite. Except for Dave. Dave sometimes bites, but I do have to stop him every once in a while. He's that guy.
Rarely, yeah, but it can happen. Yeah,
it can. If anyone hears me get angry, it's because I'm pseudo watching my Jets at times too, and they're the worst team in the history of sports.
Giants got to win.
The Giants did get a win. The Giants have a quarterback. The Jets haven't found one since 1969, but the Giants keep on getting them. So great, good job, Giants. I hate you guys. Anyway, this is a track podcast, so. Let's jump into some of the fun stuff. So last week we had a good time. We talked to Carson Gambaro. He is someone that if you listen to Flow Track, some commentary in the Northeast and things like that, he may be the voice that you listen to. It was fun talking to him. His passion for the sport is obvious. I think
young guy, but just, his heart and his passion. And you could tell that he studies this sport like no other. And I loved hearing about his own journey on his own 400-meter run, like how he's training it and trying on new things. And,
I love that he kind of like owns his PRs because Carson's obviously a fan of the sport. He's not a dumb guy. Like he knows like his PR right now is like a 54. He's a fan. He knows that guys are running 43s and things like that and 48s and 49s. But I love that he's just like, I'm going to break my own PRs. I don't care what anyone else thinks.
Training for myself. And
I saw that he just did a 600-meter run for 600 followers. So congrats to Carson for getting 600 followers.
But he's proof that this sport is for anybody. It doesn't matter you're a talent, like where you are. And as you age, you can age into it gracefully. You can keep running. You just have to, change your mindset of what is fast or not. But, kudos to Carson, man. He's out there doing his thing.
Or you could be Dave and myself and age terribly, stop running and talk to people that run really fast.
That also works. Yep.
So before we get into our PRs and any other fun stuff, I want to bring in our guest for today.
Let's do it.
Because she's somebody that I think is a part of the sport that needs more shine because we focus on track. We focus on college XC and stuff like that. We'll focus on the marathon, but there's like a section of
high school
running. And even high school
for us. Yeah.
There's a section of running that we don't focus on and we need to. Let's bring her in. She is Carrie Ellwood. She is the 2025 USATF cross-country national champion and professional runner for the ASICS Mammoth Track Club. Carrie, what's going on?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
We are pumped to have you on. And like I said, we need to start shining a light onto the professional XC scene and more of the road racing scene outside of, marathoning.
Mm-hmm.
I think because we had on, oh God, I'm terrible right now. Cliff Bosley, the Boulder, right back there. Boulder stuff is there, and we had him on, and he does such a great, there we go. They do such a great event over there, but we need more of those. And I think, someone like you who is a national champion, we also need to get more shine. So we appreciate you jumping on.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a fun journey. Darren is always keying in with us. Darren Peters giving us comments, and he's the person that initially connected us. What was it, like 6 months ago, like 5 or 6? It was a long time.
It was a while ago.
And you sent down an initial email like, "Hey Darren, sure, I'll jump on this show." And then after that, I dragged ass, and I was like, "I'll get to it." And then, like a jerk, I completely was like gone. And then one day I looked and I was like, wait, Darren just got us like an incredibly fast pro. What am I doing? So when I emailed you And then I'm hoping that it was out of spite that you're like, screw this guy. I'm not going to message him back forever.
That would have been great too.
No, it definitely was not. I'm just a little busy.
I can understand.
We would have understood that approach absolutely fine.
But a few weeks ago we reconnected and we figured out when to have you on, and it's just awesome. We just love talking to everybody in running. So thank you so much for jumping on. We truly appreciate it. So I want to get to some of our housekeeping that we do. So first things first, we always talk about our PRs. Now, we explained to you a little before the show. We love to have everyone's PRs. Now, Coach Figueroa over there at our track club at Michigan is our faithful PR guy. And we love you, Coach. But God, we need more. Where is everyone else? It is in the middle. We are in XC
I got to reach
season.
out, man.
And I know there are PRs happening. We have had many a coach on this show, whether it is high school, college. We've had pro level. Come on, y'all. I know some of you guys still watch. Let's go. All it is, you're already getting these things ready to talk about. Just batch it into an email. Send it over to talkinginovals@gmail.com. And maybe that'll be smarter. Maybe I should start plugging the email. talkinginovals@gmail.com to send your PRs. Maybe that's better. Maybe I should learn how to promote things. But send us your PR in any way possible, whether it's a message or things like that. We want to announce it, okay? And with that, let's go right over to it because, like I said, Coach Figueroa always coming into the clutch. And right over here, so a lot of his athletes, most of them run for Edwardsburg High School. And he didn't tell us where this meet was. Now, Carrie, I always have the fun thing where he gives me a random place in Michigan I never heard of. And I try to either pronounce it. And I think one of the
last week, though.
It was at Grand Rapids. I'm like, I know that place. I've heard of that one. Well, like this one, it was at the Niles Duo. I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome. But let's get to it. We have all gentlemen here. There were no ladies this week. So the PR. So for the gentleman, 10th grader, Braden Shu. I hope I'm not destroying your name. Braden Shu, 180830. 11th grader, Lucas Frentz, 181720. A 9th grader, Clark Stevens, 1908.80. Get under 19. Come on, freshman running under 19.
Come on, Clark.
10th grader Ben Schimbeckler, 2034.80. But gentlemen, I don't want to be mean to you, but Dave and I are following senior Alex Scott's progression, a sprinter with trying. Man, we're gonna get you under 20. You got another month. Let's do it. 25.16.70.
He just keeps dropping, man. He just keeps dropping.
I love it. I love it so much to see a sprinter working so hard because he doesn't have to run all these 5Ks. He doesn't have to do all this. He could just go get the training, say, Coach, I want to do block work for today. And that's fine. It's a sprinter running XC, right? To keep doing it. Let's go. And I hope his teammates are rallying around him as much as we are. I can imagine they are.
Anybody with two first names is always tough. So Alex Scott he's got it going on, man.
It's like Michael Scott, right? Like from The Office. But congrats to everyone on your PRs. Keep bringing them, Coach. We love seeing it. And everyone else, including you, Carrie, when you run a PR, or any of the athletes that you coach, send them our way. We want to give them a shout.
Yeah.
We want to open that up and make sure we get more. And I want to, before we jump in, share one more screen because I was beyond excited for this. So Marist XC track, we finally got ourselves a full track here. And I just want to show some of these pictures from it. As a former runner, a terrible runner there, but a runner, and a coach there for a few years, it was just a privilege to be there. I'm going to scroll through some of the pictures from this time. This is the current coaching staff right here, and can't be more grateful for Pete in the middle with the microphone, Terry over here on his right, Alicia over there, and Billy Poole Harris, who was on the show with us at one point. Billy will probably be coming back on. We're going to force him back on. But just this group has done amazing things. We've obviously had other coaches. Myself was there. Coach Chuck Williams was there forever. Phil was there. We've had so many different great coaches that have gotten us to this place. There was 200 plus people for this event. And a big thing I want to say is, and I know he'll be grumpy at me saying this, but every single person that was there, it was all for Pete. Pete's our dad. He's all of our dads. And it's the things that he's done for this program. And the comment right there, Kelly KS12, I don't hide the comments on Instagram, but Colezo track at Gartland Commons, it needs to be a thing. It's not named for Pete and we need to fix that because he's the longest tenured coach at Marist right now.
Just the fact that 200 people came shows that it should be named after him.
And he's built this program and sprint records because distance can go do its thing. Carrie will probably talk about that with training and stuff with roads and things like distance can do its thing. You can become a better distance runner without a track, right? It's difficult. You want to do some workouts, but you can figure it out. To continue to have sprinters break records and get more and more legitimate to the point where a few years ago, Dave, you remember I was saying we have the guy, he set the IC4A record in the 100 and the 200. And the IC4A is no small thing. That's been around for years, the IC4A.
Absolutely.
So for a Marist sprinter to do that, for us to have 400-meter runners consistently running 48 seconds without a track is astounding. And it's, obviously all the coaches that have come from there have done it, but it's all for Pete Galeza. There they are again, this group. But Pete is it. That's Drew Burns opening up the facility with the 434. That is our facility mile record now. Drew's the man. Got some of the younglings over here. I'll scroll through them quickly. I don't want to leave kids up here too long. These are some other individuals speaking that were at the event. Pete giving a big hug to Tino over there. And then this is a big view of the track here. That field is used for soccer. It's used for rugby. It's used for so many things. So
8 lanes?
An 8-lane of track. I think the straight is 9, but the 8 lanes for a round. So, I mean, great job, gorgeous track, and it's about damn time. It is about damn time that we got a track. So, go Foxes. We appreciate it. So, I just had to give that shout out to Marist and finally getting it done. And now let's get some stands there. Let's get some invites. Let's go.
You spent so much of your running journey there. I mean, it's only fitting that you come on and talk about it. I think it's great, man. I think that, and I hope that they open it up to the community and they have different things on it like that. No, it's just cool, man. It's always good when this sport can bring together so many people. I love it.
So, Carrie, when you were running, obviously, college, you were at Colorado. So yeah, they have a track. Did you have a track in high school as well? Or is there ever a situation where you didn't have a track to work out on or anything like that?
No, we had a pretty nice track in high school. But it's actually interesting as a pro now, that's been the hardest time that I've had to access a track. Not that I do much track racing anymore, but
every once in a while you want to get some speed in, right? So
yeah. And in Boulder, we have no public tracks. So like all of the professional groups in Boulder, there's not a single public track.
Here's a question.
It's like the running mecca and there's no track.
You guys get cards that say like you're pros from USATF. Can you just bring that over to like an AD at a high school and be like, I'm a professional runner. Let me on your track.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not how it works. Our school district is pretty strict. And so we have to be off the track by the time school starts, which is like 7:50 in the morning, or on the track after school ends. And so pretty limiting.
Which for me drives me a little crazy is because it's like, my taxes pay for this. If I want to go and tap dance on that track for 43 days straight, I should because I pay for it. Like, you don't have this without the constituents. Like, it always bothers me when things get gated up. Like, there should be the access should be there for everyone. Now, Dave, you might have a different opinion being an educator and a coach and things like that. But
I mean, obviously, you don't want anybody on the track when you're having practice. Or I could see
why. What if it is a Carrie Ellwood who's a pro, and it's like a pro is working out
as a head coach? I would certainly let her work out on my track during practice, but she can't because my track's only 250 meters and 4 lanes.
Yeah, he has a J. His track is a legitimate J.
Just stops.
Amazing.
It is. It's hilarious. The sprinters can work out.
But I also get why they don't want anyone on during school hours. There's so
safety
issues. I feel like if you can work it out with an ID and a background check, maybe a process where you could do that, where it could be like, okay, because here's the thing: if Carrie shows up for a football game, are they going to say you can't go in? Like they let in everyone and anyone for football games, soccer matches, and track meets to spectate, right? Like,
I don't know. I'm not too far versed in that stuff. I just kind of focus on my team and just kind of coach them. But
look at Dave being like the political coach.
No. But like
look at him go.
I could see that if there were a bunch of people running on the track during school hours, like every kid would be like, who's out there on the track? Like everyone, in the whole school, be like, all right, you got to put down all the blinds.
So for our purposes, though, if you're watching Carrie rip a professional level workout,
I would make a lesson.
If we want to grow the sport, right? Like you're looking at it going, holy crap, she's running as fast as our guys do. Like her workouts are hitting our best miler and 2 milers and destroying them in a workout.
I would have my students with stopwatches, timing everything, and make it into some sort of
at every corner, giving Carrie her interval so she could stay honest.
That'd be amazing.
But that would be fun. So we got to change these things. And I think maybe this can be like, because we've had Clayton Murphy on the show and he talks about how when he goes to do some of his workouts, he'll go to these high school tracks and he'll interact with the high school teams and have them like pace him through some things. And I think that's something that we can look at, because obviously you're a part of a pro team. Why can't the pro team approach the school system and be like, we want to do a thing with your team where we are coordinating, where, hey, we want to do workouts 2 days a week. Can we come while your track team is there, while your XC team is there, so that they can see what it takes to become a pro? And I can't see why they would say no to that. But then again, I'm not in Boulder in Colorado. I'm not an administrator. I just actually think of ways to make the sport better. Anyway, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of the show, because Carrie, the show is all about you. So I want to ask you the question that we ask everyone on the show. When did you get the spark to become a runner? Not necessarily when you started running, but when did you say, this is something that I want to pursue and really go after?
Yeah, it was in high school, I'd say. I started running in high school and I fell in love with it pretty quickly. So yeah, it was probably my sophomore year of high school. Freshman year of high school, I was kind of like, what is running? I had no idea.
There's a thing called form. What's form?
Yeah, literally.
Don't you just run?
I remember my coach running around the track with me with like a rolled up piece of paper hitting my arm saying, your arm needs to go in, you're running with your arm flailing out. And so yeah, form matters.
Sure.
But yeah, I think freshman year was all about just figuring out what running was, and making new friends and figuring out high school in general. But sophomore year was really, I think, when I really fell in love and thought, oh my gosh, like I'm having the best time doing this and maybe I could be good at it. So that was when I kind of started to take it a little bit more seriously.
Oh, cool. So, it's always funny because I love that question, because we get so many different like sparks. Like I did this, I did that, but like you may be the most organic spark we've had. Like the most organic, like I did it, it was fun, and then I realized I can get serious and maybe be good at this. Now, was there a moment freshman year when you started like having a little success that maybe it wanted you to keep going sophomore year, and then when you started to really taste it, like, okay, this is something that I can now do, like type of thing?
Yeah, our very first dual meet, I grew up in California, so in California, was at this pretty tough course, pretty hilly, and I remember getting 3rd place overall in,
Nice.
like, the freshman, sophomore category,
Yeah.
and everyone else told me that was a big deal, and I was like, "Oh, this must be a big deal, like, if I got there, that's pretty cool."
Oh, I did
And
that?
so
Okay, cool.
yeah, so I think that was probably the first spark, but I was a soccer player growing up, so I did running for soccer, and I played
Yeah.
soccer through high school, and so, I still kind of in the back of my head was like, "I'm just doing this for soccer." But that definitely got me hooked and then kept me coming back. And then, yeah, sophomore year, things just changed a little bit.
So did you run cross country at all in high school, or did you play soccer?
Yeah, I did cross country in high school. In California, soccer is in the winter time, and so I could do
Because there is no such thing as winter in California. It's so nice.
Yeah, for
cross and then
for us,
soccer and then track. Yeah,
we go obviously cross, winter track, spring track here.
Yeah, because do you guys have
indoor? You would have missed winter
California?
track. No.
No, yeah, I had no idea what indoor track was until I came to CU, and they were like, "Yeah, we have an indoor season and we have an indoor track." And I was like, "I've never run on an indoor track before."
Why is it so small? Why is it so small?
I know. Yeah,
and it's like in the Northeast, like indoor, especially in college, is our long season in college. Like it is, outdoor is a blip, right? You maybe get like 3 invites and then it's like championship season, like an outdoor, like it starts right away, where indoor, you have a good chance to get like 5 or 6 meets under your belt and then championship season starts. So that's the long season is indoor, which is good, right? Because your more achieving XC runners can take a break, right? They don't have to run those 5, 6 meets. They can jump in the middle of the season, maybe run last chance, get ready, right? And then go in. So it's like,
I feel like though, A lot of them like to run like a real quick race, like right off of XC on the track,
Oh yeah,
and then kind of take their break, like come
get
out
that
hot,
December
come
little
out
quick
like
one. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So give us some of your favorite memories. Go back to the memory banks of when you started being a runner, back in freshman year, and even if you did anything in middle school at all. Give us some of your favorite memories all the way up until now through being a pro.
Yeah, I feel like when I think about my favorite memories, I definitely chunk them into like high school memories, collegiate memories, first year pro memories, and then like memories I'm making now.
Nice.
So kind of like 4 different memory chunks. Yeah, gosh, I have so many from high school. We had a
We got
really big
time.
Yeah, we had a really big team. Our track team had I remember one year we had over 200 people on our track team, and we were like a D3, Division 3 school. So we were not the biggest school in California, but we had a lot of people running. And yeah, I grew up in Northern California, so we would run in like open space, super hilly, just like I remember muddy conditions in the wintertime, running through redwood trees. We would sometimes take public transportation over to San Francisco and run long runs on the weekends over there. So I have just so many memories of exploring trails with friends and just
That's so
like
much fun.
Awesome.
yeah, it was just the best. Like we were a good team. We won state a couple times. And
Nice.
so we were one of, we were a very good
Yeah,
California
yeah, well
team, but
known. Yeah, yeah.
we also knew how to have fun. um
Which
Which
is
I
so
think is a
important.
lost art in high
So
school and
yes.
important.
college right now. I think it's a
I
very lost art because we talk about how good the times are and things right now, but it's
mhm,
like, are they sacrificing being kids
yeah.
to get these times? And I think that there's got to be more of a balance. I think we'll find that balance again. I think we'll
Mhm,
see as it goes, but it's like a thing for I want to ask you because Dave and I, where we grew up by the Jersey Shore. So like
mhm,
I feel like we had like a similar where we had the scenery to run with, right? Like
mhm.
we can go run on the shoreline. We had so
Sure.
many different fun parks that were gorgeous in the area. Did you take for granted just how gorgeous it was where you had to run? Because now that I think back at it, it's like it was nothing for me to just call up my friends and yo, like, yo, let's go do 3 to 4 on the beach today. Like, not
Yeah.
everyone has a beach line to go run
Oh,
on. Not everyone has
Yeah.
there's a
these
boardwalk
different
or
beautiful places, a boardwalk. Like,
Glendale
so
Park. Yeah.
when you think back at it now, did you guys kind of take for granted that it was just like, oh, let's go run through redwoods or let's just go up to San Fran? Like things that
Yeah.
people like in middle America that are running fast would be like, I would
Yeah.
love to do that. Like,
Yeah, I think we did take it for granted just yeah, like, as kids, you just don't
Anybody would.
know
it's
Yeah.
just what
what
you do. It's
yeah,
just what the team has always done, right?
Yeah.
You're just doing what
yeah,
everyone did before you.
It's like
yeah,
here,
and so
like
I just feel really lucky that that was my experience, and like you
sure.
said, like, are kids not having as much fun these days? I think about that constantly,
Yeah.
especially with, like, roster limitations and,
Oh,
like, NIL deals, and they've professionalized the sport at younger
Hmm.
and younger
Oh
ages,
yeah.
and I think that's good, but it also has downsides and negative impacts, and I think of, all the kids who just ran for fun and have just stuck with it because they had so much fun and now they're having success. People like Dakota who were D3 or D2, right? Was never All-American, didn't maybe get a sponsorship scholarship to school and now she's like making an Olympic team, right?
yep.
Like
Yep.
I wonder if we're going to lose that in the future generations.
You
But yeah,
could
I
because
had fun.
I definitely from coaching high school now, it's a lot more of a serious vibe than it was when I was in high school. Like they're all up on their like I didn't know what I was eating. I just ate
Yeah.
whatever I ate, like or
McDonald's.
drink.
I would
Yeah,
go on long runs to get McDonald's to run back and pretend
Yeah.
like we split up into groups. Like we would go there, eat at McDonald's and be like, all right, us
no,
three needs to go ahead. You guys come in a few minutes. And we would, sorry, Coach Chef, sorry, Coach Griff, sorry, Coach Rash. But we would do all of those things. And I feel like now the kids are like, we can't do that. We have to
no.
go
Well,
get ready.
even
And
Yeah.
lunch
who's
now,
going
like
to
like
Acadia? It's like, stop it,
they all
dudes.
bring their own lunches and they have salad. I mean,
Oh,
it's great as a coach, but like I had fun, like
yeah.
Yeah.
And we still had some pretty fast runners,
yeah.
even when having
Totally.
fun.
I mean, not like now,
So,
but we didn't have any 16-year-olds running 142, but
oof,
Yeah.
God, it
Crazy.
is it is so insanely crazy. But so give us some more of your memories. So you have so many memories in high school, just and it seems like, Dave, we get this common theme. you obviously were a successful runner in high school. You don't end up in Colorado without being a great runner, right? In high school. But your memories seem to stem from the times you did with your team, the fun times you had with your team, not winning states, not competing at natties, not it's a team thing. So give us some more of your memories. I do love hearing those.
Yeah. All my memories from high school were team focused, like just running as hard as we could on the grass at practice and like killing ourselves and having the best time doing it, and traveling to Arcadia, to run with my team, making mixtapes back when mixtapes were a thing.
My God. With the MP3 CDs, because you didn't want to have a limit, like you could have 120 songs instead.
Oh, MP3s.
Yeah, they
were young. We had cassette
CDs.
tapes.
Well, no,
Dave, we had cassette tapes.
Dave, you were etching things into stone to like throw at the girl that you liked, okay?
No. We had Walkman, and then we got CDs, and it was game changing.
What was that movie with John Cusack where he held the boombox in the rain?
Say Anything.
Say Anything. That was it. That was
man.
Dave with his girls in high school. He was holding the boombox in the rain.
Amazing.
So go ahead, keep going, Carrie.
Yeah, so high school, just so many great memories there with my team. And then transitioning to CU, also great team memories. Like it's interesting, when I came in to CU, our women's team was not super great. I think that first year, my freshman year, I made the varsity team, which like not all true freshmen can do something like that.
So real quick, did you have a concept of the history of CU going in there? And was that kind of a drive? It's like, I want to be that start again of bringing CU back, because like obviously before you, like we've interviewed Sarah Slattery and just the greats that were there,
and the Torres brothers,
and the Torres brothers,
of CU people on.
We have, like, you're a part of a CU legacy on this show. But it's like, did you realize that? And obviously there's so many great schools up and down the West Coast. So it's like choosing CU as one of the top runners in California had to be a big deal at the time as well. Like, so real quick, before you jump into memories, what went into the process of choosing CU over your UCLAs, even your Sacramento States and things like that? Like your great schools, Oregon, obviously, Washington, like ASU, like there's that West Coast is insane. So
insane.
What went into the choosing Colorado? Because I'd imagine your stature in high school probably opened up the doors to possibly go to these other schools as well.
Yeah,
I was Colorado. You at that point, you can go anywhere.
And Wetmore was
yes. I was getting recruited at that point from like schools across the nation, which was an amazing opportunity. And I like recognized that and was like, oh my gosh, I'm in such like a privileged position to be able to like choose the school that I want to go to. And Colorado actually didn't recruit me. I reached out to them initially, and because I knew of their legacy, like at the time, like Emma Coburn was still on the team, Shalea was on the team, and like amazing women, amazing men, obviously. And so I reached out to Billy Nelson, who was on the coaching staff at the time, and he was like, I just watched you run at state. So like they knew about me, but like hadn't reached out personally. And I was like, I would love to like come on a visit to your school. And so CU was my very first official visit. I went there with my mom and I remember flying in and driving into Boulder and seeing mountains, and immediately I was like, this is the school for me. Like, I know that I want to go here. And it was my mom who was like, you really need to talk to some other schools. Like, don't make your decision based on just this one.
Was it anything that had to do with the training, knowing that you'd be getting that training at elevation, that what made you kind of want to go there as well?
For sure. Yeah. I think, Coach Wetmore was a coach at the time, and Heather Burrows, and
Jersey guy.
Yeah. And
Bernard's.
just talking to them, like he is so meticulous in his training and has, like we said, had such a great history of training amazing runners, and not just amazing collegiate runners, but amazing runners outside of that, like in the professional world too. And so to me, I was like, okay, he really knows how to develop his athletes, and the team, was just so fun. And that reminded me of high school memories. And I was like, this is where I want to go. And obviously the scenery is great. I knew training at altitude was great. That's something I wasn't getting in California. And so, everything just pointed to CU.
So it's like the importance of the official visit, right? Because I had that when I came to Marist, and I visited a few schools, and it was like the teams were cool, right? Like I was fine with them, but you get with that group, and you probably had that at CU, where it's like these are my people. I click with them. Like I can, you go on a few runs with them because obviously you stay overnight and whatever, you do like a morning run, you do maybe watch them work out, maybe do something with them. And it's like, these are very similar to where I want to be. Like, did you have that at CU where it was like automatically like, I want to be best friends with her? Like,
yeah, pretty much. And the team atmosphere, like everyone was like really friendly, really encouraging with other people. And I really liked the just like down to earthness of the coaches and the girls. It wasn't like, I'm not a very girly girl. Like I like to like get in really hard, solid work and like call it a day. And that's kind of the type of like grittiness that the women of CU and the men had. And so yeah, definitely personalities clicked and it all worked out.
So you obviously had success at CU. That turned over into you becoming a pro. When you jumped into CU, was being a pro the goal, or was it to just become as good of a collegiate runner as you can and see where it takes you?
Definitely just to be the best runner that I could in that moment. So being a pro was like not really on my mind. And honestly, I didn't have an amazing collegiate, story. I made nationals in outdoor track once. I was the first person out 3 times
Oh,
of regionals, which is
ouch.
kind of brutal. Yeah. But I made, nationals once, and then I made obviously cross country nationals with my team. And I ran some like decent times, but like nothing fantastic. I was injured quite a bit. I did make a world junior cross team my freshman year at CU, which was
Where was
cool to
that? Where
experience
was the
that.
worlds at that time?
It was in Poland. And
That's
so
so cool.
yeah, it was amazing. It was such a cold, freezing day. I think it was 15 degrees. And I was like,
Ooh.
I'm wearing my USA crop top because I earned it and I'm gonna wear my crop top. And it was
Was it
so
easy
cold.
to figure out Celsius? Like you could say 15 degrees now. What the hell was it in Celsius?
Oof. I don't know. In
Cold.
Celsius, 15 degrees
I have to
Fahrenheit,
say,
yeah.
I will go to battle. I like our system so much better in the metric and Celsius.
It's
Okay.
because we know it.
No, it's
That's why.
because in decimals, I don't want to see 5.63. Okay. That doesn't make sense. Okay. But anyway.
So going pro really wasn't even on your thought process.
No, honestly,
Interesting.
I graduated and I had been injured for like 2 years, like on and off. And so my relationship with this sport was like not in a good place by the time I graduated CU because all I had seen was get fit, get injured, get fit, get injured. And so I took a step away from running actually,
Sure.
and I got my master's degree. I started teaching and I was just kind of like running on the side. And eventually, of course, I couldn't stay away for that long. I think it was like a year and a half or so. And then I joined a local boulder group with no like desire to be a professional. I was just like, I want to get back into running and kind of
Just get fit,
see,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Get fit, get in
right?
good
Like,
shape, run fast a
Well,
little
no, you
bit.
know what it is
Yeah.
because you were finally healthy. So you're like, let's.
yes.
I can
Yes.
finally run and
Yes.
train, and without limitations. Let's kind of see where I'm at.
Yeah, and so it
Perfect.
took me a while to get that fun back, right? Like the fun that I felt in
Mhm.
high school, the fun that I had at CU, the first, couple years of CU and yeah, but once I found that desire and health and ability to have fun in running again, that's when I started really flourishing in the professional side of things. But yeah, it was a big transition from collegiate running to professional running,
Sure.
especially as someone who wasn't sponsored at all and who didn't really know how to like deal with like what races to do, how to get in, like and any of that. And so standing on start lines was really scary because I wasn't sure that I like belonged on start lines. So yeah, it's been a fun journey now in the professional field of things. Really
And
finding my footing.
it seems like you're someone who enjoyed the team aspect too. So obviously when you go pro, you train with people, but they're not really your teammates, right? Like
Mhm.
it's a
Correct.
very different thing where
Sure.
at the pro level, it's still dog eat dog. Like you could be wearing the same like
Totally.
thing, but we're all pros. We're trying to all win
Mhm.
some money. We're trying to earn a living. So it's such a, it seems like you're, like you said, you're someone who enjoyed the team aspect. Was that one of the biggest things to know? Like when I step on that line, there is no teammates. Like, yeah, we could be training partners, but it's more
Mhm.
like, it's a difference between like a friend and an acquaintance in terms
Sure.
of that way. Like obviously those ladies could still be your friends, but in terms of training wise, once you get to that line where at CU, maybe in high school, if my friend was beating me, I'm still rooting for them. Here it's
Yeah.
like that's less money for me because she's up there, right? Like there's
Yeah.
like it's that different mentality.
Sure.
It is different. I will say the longer I've been in, like, especially the road racing scene, it's like 20 of the same girls. So and we do, like, we want to be the best we can. We want to beat everyone, but we want to beat everyone on their best day too. And so, like,
Yeah.
we do still cheer for other women who we're sharing the starting line with. But
That's good.
like, yeah, we're gonna fight tooth and nail to like get the win
Right.
or like pass her in the final stretch. But we're finishing and being like, wow, great job. You ran really well.
So when you went pro, was it a conscious effort to not run on the track, to just kind of focus on cross country and road racing? Or were you still at that point still kind of dabbling with the track stuff too?
Yeah, I did track stuff until I did the Olympic trials in 2024 for the 10,000. So I was like sort of doing track. It was more
So
like
quick
I
thing
was,
though, was that validating though that you were still able to make it to the trials? 'Cause I don't think like
Yeah.
track athletes, we're such a bizarre
Still a
beast
standard.
because
yeah.
it's like if I'm not going to worlds, I'm trash, right? Like that's our mentality. It's like, but
Hmm.
the fact that you were able to step away from the sport, get in with the club, but it's like I could still go make USATFs if I want to. Like that
That's
Yeah.
has
cool.
to be like if you take a step back and look at it, how many women make it to USATFs? What is there, 16 maybe that toe that
Yeah, it's
line?
not a
Less?
lot.
It's not a
Not a
Yeah.
lot. So it's like you were able to take time off, get healthy, start training
Hmm.
again. And it's like, I'm still one of the 16 best women in this country. Like
Yeah.
there has to be like a
That's pretty cool.
validation factor there when you truly think about like, I'm pretty damn fast.
But
Like I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
but I would think that validation might come when you're done, when you step away, because
Yeah,
now
you can.
when you're going
I
through
can
it,
validate you.
it's almost like
Yeah.
hard. It's almost hard to like give it anything. Oh yeah, like that was a good race. You almost have to keep that like
For
mindset
sure.
of like
Yeah.
I fine race, but what's next? What's next? What's next?
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, that definitely happened. I think in 2021, that was when I kind of had my breakout year in terms of like really matching the pro ranks and like competing really well against people. And
Yeah.
I qualified for the Olympic trials on the track in the 5,000 and the 10,000. I made
Nice.
the 5,000 final that year and I was 10th overall, which like at the time I was like, wow, what a horrible race. I was
Right.
10th.
And
Like I
now that you
didn't
think about it, you were the
exceed.
Like
10th fastest woman in the
Yeah.
country. Like
Yeah, only in hindsight, like years removed, I'm like,
right.
wow, like I didn't even really train for track. Like I would say track has like never been my strong suit, but like I was 10th at the Olympic trials. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we have such a bizarre mindset when it
Was-
comes to like running. Cause even like
Yeah.
now, like if I go and try and run, I'll look at it and like my slow self, if I run 3 miles, like I'll be happy to get it done in 25.
Yeah.
But it's like I'll look at it and be like, I'm terrible. But then it's like people are like, oh, you ran 25 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's terrible. What are you talking about? It's like, no, like people
Yeah.
like it's a mentality thing. So I want to get to this
Mhm.
comment from Darren because that is our connection, Mr. Darren Peters. Thank you, Darren.
Mhm.
Does a professional race compare to the Foot Locker regional race? So how would you say with that?
Yeah, like a Foot Locker regional cross country race.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that race, I remember doing that race and that felt very professional. I think
Sure.
yeah, like you know that there's something at stake at the end, whether it's qualifying for nationals or qualifying for a team or having money being on the line. Yeah, and I remember Foot Locker regional races, like you feel like you mean something, like people
Because
are
you're
watching
representing
you.
that region with a bunch of
But
girls that you
but
Yeah.
competed against, but now
but
you're a team because you're representing that region on
Hmm.
your
but
jersey.
that race also is kind of the first like individual race that a lot
Yes.
of these kids
Yes,
have. So
yes,
it kind of
Hmm.
yes.
gets them in
It's
that mindset.
goals.
So as a person who's run Foot Locker, what do you think that it's no longer here?
Yeah, honestly, when I saw that news, I was pretty sad.
Me too.
And going through like social media feeds that day, just to see the amount of amazing professional runners who have gone through that and had success and to know that that was a part of their journey,
Yeah.
that made me the most sad because I was like, this has been such an integral part of like developing athletes and showing them, I remember going to Foot Locker nationals and getting a bag of free like
Yep.
Saucony stuff.
Swag, man.
And I
Listen,
was like, oh my gosh, this is
Goals.
amazing. Like,
but
right?
still to this day, the only reason why a lot of kids want to qualify for nationals is just to get the actual
The
bag.
swag.
I mean, whatever motivates them.
But like
the bag critiques are hilarious because I do have to say though, like some of the bag designers need different jobs because some of them are freaking terrible. Yeah. But like Nike always hits us. Like Nike's always solid. Like
no, but it's but no, because like I remember Foot Locker when it was Kinney. It was Kinney first, and then it was Foot Locker, and now who just bought it? Was it
Brooks or
Brooks did?
Brooks,
yeah.
Brooks has been great for the sport.
Yeah, but but it's just it's
which
just,
you can't say. ASICS, go ASICS.
It's just something about that meet that just always brought. Like I remember like knowing people who made it, and like to this day, like that's one of the most proudest moments that they've had in
absolutely.
Their whole life. Like I mean,
as it should be a proud moment.
You take 10 from each region, like a 4 or 5 state region, or like maybe more. You just take 10 kids from that whole area. It was awesome. And then you go out to Balboa Park and run there every year.
So cool.
So I do have to say though, it's like for time and time again, Dave, we've had these elite pro level runners, and they all talk about I was hurt, and just the mental toughness that you all have, men, women, it doesn't matter.
High school kids,
from high school, college, and when you don't realize you're a kid in college until you get older and you notice you're a kid in college, right? The mental toughness of all of you, and I feel like we need to like batch like some of the greatest runners that had these injury-ridden times and still done it. Just donate all your brains to science and find out why the hell you're also mentally tough. Because like Dave and I can talk. We were decent runners that could have been good, but injuries derailed us. And for one reason or another, like my mental toughness left. Like my mentality was gone come college. Like it was shot. And I know I had talent, but I could never recover. I'm always marveling at individuals like yourself that can battle through. Like for me, if I had 4 years of injuries to never see my potential and one of the best cross country and track programs, like I would have buckled and I would have been like, screw this, I'm never running again. And look at me now. I just talk to people that run. So it's like, I always have such a, respect and for what you guys are able to do and what you're still able to do. Cause now all that pressure is also on top of you for being a sponsored pro, a part of a, a fairly well-known running team,
and being a national champion.
So that is all so freaking cool. So I want to talk a little more about road racing. Cause like you said, you started off doing some stuff on the track. You've obviously transitioned to doing more road racing stuff, your marathons, your road races. We mentioned Boulder and stuff. What made you eventually go over to not just the course, but to the roads more than anything?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that was something that was new to me. And so when I was exploring professional running, I was like, well, I'm going to explore road racing because I've never done that. That's not something you get to do in the collegiate system. Yeah. Obviously, I started running in high school, so I wasn't doing road races in high school. And so yeah, I started doing all sorts of distances. I think that's the beauty of road racing is that it's not just the marathon and it's not just the half marathon. Like there's a USATF road circuit. So like I did the 25K champs earlier this year, set an American record in the 25K champs and, won that. And then there's 5Ks, there's 10Ks, there's all these sorts of different things. And it's, so I just started exploring that because I was like, this is something new and I'm gonna figure out if I like it, and I totally loved it. Like road racing is so fun. And I think why I think it's so fun is because you're sharing the roads with thousands and thousands of other people. And I think that's a really unique thing about road racing that is just makes it really fun and different.
So tell me if I'm wrong, but I was always fascinated why more pros didn't get into road racing because it always seemed like a much easier way, like to make money faster and to make more money. So do you feel that like some of the people just stay on the track because it's more prestigious, I guess, per se? And like it's a scene like, oh, like you have to run on the track. Cause that's the only reason that I can think of. Cause otherwise it makes zero money. We have all these athletes claiming that they don't have any money. And this is a way where you can go out there and make pretty solid money. So I just never understood why
I wanted them to know that.
No,
it's more than to stay on the damn track.
I was just always curious and asking why that wasn't the approach of more people, because you can make a lot more money running on the roads.
For sure. I think that is just now starting to change within the last couple years. You're seeing some runners out of college who are foregoing the track and going
Look at
straight
Connor
to the
Mantz.
roads.
You know, I mean, Connor
Exactly.
Mantz, guys like that, like
And
they're just roads.
I think it is because people are understanding like they can make way more money running on the roads. But I think also it's kind of like this unspoken thing in like the world of running, like elite level running, to like stay on the track as long as you can until you're not fast enough, and then you move to the roads. Like that's always the unspoken kind of rule of like racing.
But that's like years of just missed income.
Yes. I mean, if you have a sponsor, you know,
That's different.
then
It depends.
you can make money, but you don't need a sponsor to be making money on the roads. And I
Correct.
think people are just starting to figure that out, and so they're foregoing the track for whatever reason.
You could run, you know, like probably win 3 or 4 road races in your local town, and you'll make $600.
Totally.
You know, like so, like
Yeah.
for just running, and that's not even being sponsored. That's just, you know, getting up every day and training. You know, it's so it's I never understood why more people didn't go that route, because it seems to be so much more lucrative. So
I think that's starting to change. I think there's been a couple of runners who are going straight to the roads out of college, which is great. It's great for the sport.
So I want to
go there.
I just wanted to so you went to the roads and then you went into XC. Can you just talk a little bit more about how a post collegiate still gets into XC? Because I feel like it's such a forgotten part of our sport. Like once you get out of college, I mean, we all know that there's a US National XC Championship, but it's you don't hear about it as much.
And I feel like Club XC Nationals is bigger than the Pro XC Nationals, because you have a lot of your
some years,
runners. And I know, like, because I had some Maris guys that I was friends with that were still running Club XC and stuff like that, and they just bring in Club XC Nationals is a pretty big deal every year. Like, and because there's still that team aspect to the Club XC part, and you're still running for your brothers and your sisters there. It's a little different in that sense, because again, they can win money, but there isn't as much money involved in the club thing.
Yeah. So honestly, like there's 2 races. There's club cross country and then there's cross country nationals. Sometimes there's, you know, obviously there might be local races for wherever you're at. And then sometimes there's races in Europe that you can go to. They have like more of a European circuit because Europe knows how to do cross country really well.
Europe knows how to do track very well too.
They do. They like their running.
Yeah, but you know, cross country nationals is typically in like a weird time of year. It's typically early January. Some years are world qualifiers, some Pan Am, some not. And so people just don't do it because training for cross country is a different stimulus and requires different training. And so unless you're willing to like change up your training a bit, or, you know, maybe forego an indoor track season or whatever that looks like, people just don't do it. And there's little incentive to do it, which is really a shame.
So do you think if a USATF came out with like a cross country series that would certainly have more, because it's so popular in college and everybody loves doing it. I mean, like you get the best of the best every year at the NCAA Nats, and then it just goes away. And it's so frustrating as a person who loves cross country that like, so they have a road race series, but they don't have anything for cross country.
Yeah, correct.
That makes zero sense. But
actually, cross country is part of the road racing circuit.
Really? That's so weird.
Even though there's just one race. And
they're 2 different sports, though. I mean, they're not even in the same realm.
So in terms of training, because road racing is obviously really hard on the legs, right? You're pounding on the surface. And I think that might be another reason why so many athletes stay on the track longer, because it's less taxing on the legs. The track is more forgiving. When it comes to training for it, do you train more on softer surfaces, or do you train for that hard surface? Because I know one of the famous injuries that we got up at Maris, because we didn't have a lot of grass to train on, we were training on roads and on sidewalks, is the IT band strain. Right away, you strain your IT bands. It's a rite of passage. You figure it out, and then your IT band kind of gets with the program, right? You train it, you heal it, and then you're okay. So when it comes to the training for all the road races, and obviously you're pounding on the roads a ton, are you looking to kind of train your legs to run on those roads, or are you trying to take advantage of soft surfaces more?
Yeah, I'd say it's 50-50. I do most of my like VO2 max workouts on pavement where I'm really trying to get the most bang for my buck with like strength. But my like more threshold workouts will do on dirt roads. And then basically all of my recovery runs are on dirt roads.
Do you find with the evolution of shoes that it's not mattering as much where you actually run because these shoes have so much give back and so much, like I just saw a ad for like a new pair of Pumas. It was like they were like walking on the moon. It was like crazy.
Yeah. I do think that the shoe technology has come a really long way. And it makes recovery a lot faster because you're not breaking down as much in the sessions. And so I think it does allow you to do a little bit more pounding on your bones and muscles.
Definitely, absolutely. So with that, you talked about how there's the road racing circuit and things like that. What goes into the process of picking your season, right? Because it's obviously a different animal. Track does this a little bit where, the athletes kind of pick their big races. What goes into the process of picking your season, and how often do you pull out of races? Because it's a friggin' pandemic with athletes on the track pulling out of races. And I know Dave and I might differ here, but Melissa Jefferson Wooden, I'm sorry, I butchered her name. Melissa Jefferson Wooden pulling out of Athlos is a travesty. She should not be allowed anywhere near it. I don't want her to be
I disagree with that.
No.
I think
no, she should be gone.
And
she should be fined.
Okay, listen. She just won the 100 World Championship, 200 World Championship. She's not running there fine, but I think it's still kudos to her for still going and showing up and being there for the fans and signing autographs. Like that's more what the sport needs than to watch someone run a race that they don't care about because they just won two.
I'm so
medals.
happy when I go to see a Lakers game and LeBron James is just there and maybe he waves at me. No, I go to see them compete. And the fact that Athlos has been promoting her, made it a big deal that she was coming.
I understand.
Only for her to pull out with less than a month. Here's the thing. I think, me personally, IAAF, USATF should be fining these major athletes. They should tell them you are barred from competing on the circuit for a period of time because this hurts the sport. Terribly hurts the sport. When Sid and a thing pulled out of LA, when this is a
I would agree with you if she wasn't going. If she just blew it off and said, I'm double world champ, but no, she's still going and being a part of it. And this sport needs, like, she's going to interact and reach and be there for more fans this way than she would have if she was running the actual race because she would have to warm up. I definitely think that if it's done right, I think it could be a positive because she's going to be there and her fans will get to see her. She's going to be able to sign more autographs, talk to more fans. People just watched her run. They don't need to watch her run again. Do I wish she would start running? Sure. But I'm giving her kudos for showing up and doing her commitment because I think she can reach more fans in that capacity.
So, Carrie, how do you feel about our major athletes of the sport deciding they're too big for some races that they commit to and pulling out a month before the event?
It's hard in track, man. There's injuries. It's
hard in I'm sorry for cursing. It's hard in every sport. And we make excuses for our athletes that make no money. I'm sorry.
I think, everyone has behind the scenes of what's going on. If someone is pulling out because they think they're too big for something or, another opportunity comes that is paying them more, I don't really know if that's a good thing for the sport. Like if you make a commitment, stick with it. But we're also athletes and our bodies break down. And I think that's an unfortunate part of it sometimes. And sometimes you do pull something and the right call is absolutely to like not go and compete.
Injury is fine. Injury is okay, but I'm tired is not an excuse. I'm sorry. You're a 100 and 200 meter runner.
If you just had the greatest excuse, it was the greatest season a sprinter has ever had.
Finish it. It's not over.
She did finish it.
You committed to another meet.
She freaking finished it. She won double gold at the World Championships. She finished her season.
And nobody knows who she is. And nobody outside of us knows who she is.
Going to this meet's not going to change that in any way.
It would because there's Sierra's performing.
She's going though. She's going to be there.
She's going to go do an interview.
She's going to interact with more fans.
No, she's not. She's not. I guarantee she's not going to talk to anybody.
Oh my goodness. All
right. I'm sorry. This is the perspective. This is the perspective that needs to change. Well, here's the thing. If we're only polling track and field people who actually know who Melissa Jefferson Wooden is, that's different. when you're trying to reach young girls who don't watch and pay for Flow Track or Runner Space or anything and have no idea who this woman is as she's walking up to them, but it doesn't make a difference. But if
now
she was on the track and she dominated again
and get more autographs because she's going to have more time. She's going to be more available.
See, this is where me and you differ because I think it's a travesty. She should be barred from the stadium.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like when like Sid and then pulled out of LA, I was on your side because they were just not going. Like she's going. Like she's taking. She doesn't have to go. She just won double world. She could do whatever.
Nonsense. Of course she does. She
can go hang out in Botswana with freaking Tobago.
This is my meanness. This is my meanness. Carrie Ellwood is a national record holder and a national champion. Sure. But unfortunately, not enough people know who Carrie is. And that needs to change.
Agreed.
But it only changes by our major athletes in the sport competing and doing their commitments. Period.
I think just being there is enough because, again, under these circumstances, because of what she just did, and I think she's earned that. Like, she's just not blowing it off. She is going. I don't know.
I'm tired is not a reason. Okay, I'm sorry. Carrie, are you tired? Even when you go into big races?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm tired, especially not for a sprinter, okay? I'm tired is not a good excuse. Okay, I'm sorry. And if this costs Melissa to never come on the show, I am A-okay with that because I am hypercritical of track athletes.
I'll just message her and be like, we could do solo just to me. In a year.
Yeah, you can go with your fanboy and not take criticism. I will
gladly. If she comes on a show, I will gladly.
Carrie's like, I didn't expect a heated debate on this.
I love it. I'm just sitting here watching.
But, that's the thing that bothers me, right? Because it's like, if you're looking at it, Conor Mantz is a good example. Conor Mantz is somebody that at least most people know in the running world. If Conor Mantz said he was going to Boulder, which he has competed at, and Conor's won at Boulder, right? If Conor goes in there and Cliff makes it a big deal, Conor's coming back, and then a month before, no injury, no issue, all because Conor won Worlds. He goes,
yeah, he won Worlds.
I don't think I'm going to compete at Boulder anymore.
Yeah,
winning Worlds changes things.
If he went, a commitment.
If he went and was there and was part of all the festivities, that's all people care about. They want to get to know them. They've seen him run.
Nobody cares about them. They want to see what they do on the field. I don't want to get to know Patrick Mahomes. I want to watch him throw a football. I could care less about who he is. That's the thing. It's like I don't want. I love getting to know our athletes on our show. Like I love getting to know Carrie, but I want to see Carrie go run fast, and I want to see her ability pay her and make her a bazillionaire. Okay,
because I think we won't get circumstances. I think we have to look at circumstances.
Yeah, and I'm tired. It's not a good one. If there's an injury, fine. I'm fine with that. You don't run injured. I'm tired. I'm sore. I'm sorry. You're an elite athlete.
From crushing the world by half a second.
You give her more excuses than anybody.
Not an excuse. She just dominated the best season that sprinters ever had. Anyway.
And that's more of a reason to go there and put on an all-star performance. More of a reason to do it, not less. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to Carrie. We can fight on this later. So, going into that, what goes into the process of picking races that you, being a strong professional, don't pull out of?
Yeah, so I typically start from like my A race of the season. Typically, I'll have one or two in a season, and then I work back from there. And so I'll see, timing wise, which races I need to race in November, which races kind of.
So, is there rankings for races like in the track where they have like the platinum golds, like continental, like the where more races carry more weight going towards your USATF and worlds type of things?
Yeah, they do, especially in like the marathons. The marathon majors are like, gold level or something like that. And then Olympic trials.
The majors are what? New York, London.
Yeah, New York, London, Boston, Chicago, Sydney now, Berlin, and
Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. And then South Africa, I think, is being added next year.
Oh, nice.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. Go for it. So you pick A races, meaning your best races for getting points in qualifying, or just races you're targeting?
What she's training for, right?
Yeah, just races you're targeting. So typically, as like a road racer, that's a marathon. So you're looking at like a fall and a spring marathon, and then you're seeing which races fit into that schedule. And you kind of work backwards from there. But, obviously you don't need to be running a marathon. So maybe it's a half marathon that you're targeting, and you're looking at races that like supplement that.
So do you take advantage of being a pro and being on a team and go, I want to go to the East Coast for this race? Or do you still have to put out of your own pocket to do that?
So road racing is not like track where typically road racing organizations will pay for you to come to their race.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so,
Let's
yeah, so
go.
it's great. So typically you get a hotel accommodations
Yep.
paid for and typically a flight paid for. And
Nice.
so no
Way more
money
than you
out of
get.
your pocket.
It's definitely more than you get on the actual track in most
For sure. A lot
organizations.
of track racing is you pay your way
Sure.
and then you do really well and you still get paid nothing. And so, yeah, road racing is a little
Right.
bit different in that sense.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So yeah, it's fun.
because in a track, it's so like the top 2% get everything, and then everyone else just has
Yeah,
to fend for themselves. So I have a
exactly.
question for you. When you go into each for road racing, do you still break it down into seasons, or is it more like a year-long goal?
Yeah, I still would break it down into a season.
Season.
Everyone's a little different. I like to think of fall and spring. I always have like a bigger picture. Typically, runners, we work in 4-year cycles. And so
Sure.
there's always like that bigger picture. But yeah, typically I do a fall and a spring kind of season.
And like, so for each fall or spring, do you have like a certain goal? Like this season, I'm only going to run 10Ks or 5Ks. Like, do you put like 5, 10 and marathon all in one session, or do you have different sessions when you're training for certain marathons because it's that much longer?
Yeah, so I typically base all my training based on what my A race is. So
Sure.
typically it's a marathon.
Smart. Yeah.
This year I'm not doing a marathon in the fall. So my A race is actually cross country because I want to make the world team. But I'm
Nice.
doing
Let's
a
go.
half marathon in November. So that's kind of like it works out because half marathon training is very similar to cross country training. You're probably going to be running half marathon pace in the cross country race, even though they're different distances. So yeah, it kind of depends.
Where
That's
do
cool.
some of like the quirky distance race pops up? Because I know like here in Philadelphia, we have the Broad Street 10. The Broad Street 10 is
Yeah.
massive. And it's
Hmm.
a good, like people that are training for halves will use that as kind of their tune up for their big half, right?
Hmm.
They'll run the 10 to kind of run a fast 10 miler. Where do quirky races like that kind of fit into training? Do you find to put them in for like fun times? And do the race directors kind of understand what some of you are trying to do and put those races in certain times intentionally?
Definitely race directors think about timing, and it's typically based around marathons.
Sure.
It's everything's
But
around the marathon, damn
yeah, I know.
it.
But, like, quirky race distances are great, like, road racers do them all the time. I think there's just a lot of really well-known races that people
Yeah.
do. Like, you have, like, your Falmouth, your Beach to Beacon,
Yep.
you
Yep.
have,
Yep.
like, a 25K,
Mm.
like, that's, like, a
Yeah.
pretty random distance,
I
right?
feel
Mhm.
And
like
so
every state has their one like signature
Oh,
like
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
road race.
Yeah,
It's
and
cool.
and people just remember having a really good time. Like road racing, the organizations that put on road races typically do a great job at like hosting athletes
Yeah.
and it's just really fun. And so even if the prize money isn't great, if the vibes are good,
Yeah.
road
Oh,
racers will
yeah.
show up.
See, road.
And if they're in good spots, right?
Yeah.
Like going to the beach is really
It's all
fun.
Yeah.
about the pint. It's
See,
all
see.
about the
Yeah.
pint at the end. That's
Well,
all
see,
Yeah.
runners do it for is the pint.
well, I'll say it like road racing fascinates me because it's almost like it's two different sports for your pros and just for your like Joe Schmoes.
Hmm.
Like Joe Schmo is like, ooh, they have Guinness at the end of this meet.
Totally.
I'm going there. Like,
I don't know. The
Yeah.
screw you,
elites
Miller.
do it too, okay? But the elites also know the bar to go to down the road with all of each other to go hang out that the other ones don't know about. That's the
No,
bar
no,
that all the
but
runners go to and the coaches.
it's almost like it's two different sports based upon
Yes,
your
yes.
ability, because you'll get those diehards who run a 5K every single weekend, just
Hmm.
running 25,
Yeah,
26 minutes
yeah, yeah.
and just do it for the pure joy of it. And then you have you guys there who are like, this is fun, but this is my job. So it's like
Hmm.
such a different mind frame for the exact same race, which is why
For
you
sure.
said road racing is cool, because you're sharing it. There could be 7,000 people in the race, and there's only maybe 12 that you're even worried about. But those other people
Totally.
are also there just to have an amazing time and just soak everything in. That's why, like people want to go to road races where the music's blasts and where there's beer
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
trucks, where like there's vendors, like it becomes more than just a race. It becomes like just a whole day. Like you're
Mhm.
not just there for your race. You get there early, you warm up, you stay after, it's cool. It's just funny how like it's two different sports almost for
Yeah,
what ability
it
that
is.
that
So,
you are.
how much do you find that, like, because again, this fascinates me as Dave. How much are you truly being coached as a professional road racer? Is there a lot more individualness to it in terms of the races you're picking? Are you truly sitting down with your coach and going, this is what we're targeting and doing plans? Or is there a lot more based on you in terms of what you're doing? Because I can imagine too, there's some teams that are a little more involved with that, some teams that
Yeah.
are less involved, and you can kind of pick which level's
Mhm.
good for you, coach being heavy, coach kind of being less heavy. Where
Mhm.
does it fall in terms of what you do?
Yeah, so I really like to have a really good, you know, relationship with my coach. And so I really value his insights. And so I like to sit down and say, these are kind of where I'm leaning towards, like, but what are your goals for me this season? And
Mhm.
how can I just become the best runner? And like what do you think would be the best races that I should do or something like that? So
Sure.
I have sit down conversations multiple times a year with my coach and we kind of work on that together. It's very like both of us together.
So on that note, because in high school and college, it's usually there's a coach and they tell
Mhm.
you exactly what to do. What was it like going through that change where you felt like I have input? Like I'm now a
Mhm.
pro. Like that coach kind of works for me almost in a sense. Like so what was it
Yeah.
like finally figuring out that you had a voice? Because in high school, most kids are just like whatever coach says.
Yes, coach. No,
Yeah.
coach. That's it. Yes, coach.
College too, but when you
Yeah.
get pro, like, you should have some sort of say of what you're
Mhm.
doing because it's about your comfort level and the coach. So, like, what was that like to finally be able to say, "Oh, like, I have input. Like, I can
Yeah.
actually be a part of this whole process." And does that make you feel like you have more ownership of it?
Absolutely. It makes me feel like I have more ownership of it. And I think yeah, it's almost like maturing, right? You
Yeah.
just like realize that, oh, I do know what I'm doing in this sport. I do like my opinions matter and yeah, so it's been really, really good. My coach is Andrew Castor, Dina Castor's husband,
Listen,
and he is
Fantastic.
she's
just an amazing coach
yeah.
and
I
has
mean,
so much
his
knowledge. Yeah.
his wife's probably the goat for road racing, for,
Yes, actually,
women.
I'd say.
this morning I showed up to my run and I was running with Dina. Dina was there and Joan
So
Benoit Samuelson, who was the
hey,
first
We
gold
Joan.
met her
medal
last
winner.
year.
And I was
We did
like,
meet
oh,
her.
this is amazing.
Yes,
We met
yes.
Joan last year. We were at the New York City um, Legends dinner, and she was there.
Nice.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So much fun.
definitely, having a say in what races I'm doing and how I'm training and also just like I know so much about my body and
Sure,
how I'm feeling at this stage in my career. And so being able to communicate that and maybe tweak training here and there
sure.
or that's been really, really helpful too.
Yeah, I would think that having that ability and having a coach that listens, maybe like having a coach who might not be as knowledgeable but listens to you and
Hmm.
understands you is probably better at that level than having someone who's just
Absolutely.
do it my way. Like
For
who doesn't
sure.
know you, who doesn't want to get to even know you. So this is how I've always done it for all these years. Like no, like you have a say. I love that.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's great.
And I'd imagine there's a huge difference too in terms of the dynamic because again, you're not on a team, right? So the coach is not, you're not trying to win a team title. You're trying to do it
Hmm.
what's best for yourself because it's definitely a little different when
Sure.
the coach is not only coaching you, but you're all working towards the same goal of individual success will lead to team success. So we have to do
Hmm.
things in a different way. And I can
Sure.
imagine that would change, right? If you joined a team that was trying to win the team cross country championships, so
Hmm.
maybe it'd be a little bit of tweaks and
Yeah.
differences in terms of races you're trying to
A lot more
target, teams
pack
you're trying
running
to
and things like
do.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a different mentality. So speaking of mentalities, what was it like winning the national championship in XC? Because like you said, you kind of were like, meh, it's just that, but it's like it's a big deal. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Like you are a
Oh yeah.
national champion, right?
In
Like
anything,
that
it's
is
amazing.
huge. Again, going
Yeah.
back to you are one of the fastest women in the world. Like there's not a question about that. So what did that feel like? Did you go into that race knowing I can win this title, or was it more of a situational, like where you are in the race, like I'm going to win this, I can do this if I push? Like, what was that race like?
Yeah, I definitely went into it with the goal of winning,
Nice,
but I also, standing on a start line, anyone has a shot at winning.
of
Like,
Yep.
course.
even if you have no reason to believe you should win, like, you still have a
If you're
shot at
there, you
winning.
have a chance.
Absolutely. And I
Listen,
wholeheartedly believe that.
it is
Yeah,
cross country.
So
anything can happen. Like
It's a
you're not
physical
running.
sport, baby. It's a contact sport,
Not only
XC.
that, like you're not running on a track. There's so many other elements that can go into it. Like you could have everything planned to a T, and you could step wrong, on a tiny little twig, and it could throw you off. So like having that confidence is, I think, even more paramount in cross country, because there's so many factors that can dictate the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I went into it hoping I would win, and I sort of had a race plan that I thought would set me up for success, and I started the race and my race plan went out the window. It was a really windy day, and I had told myself, like, definitely don't lead until, second or third lap, and I
Draft.
found myself in the front, and I was just like, I'm just going for it. And so it was a really unique race in the sense that I was pushing from the front the entire time, running a little bit scared for a little bit, but then I had a pretty big gap, and so my last 2K lap, I was just having the best time. Like, you never know until you cross the finish line, but I had a pretty good feeling that I was gonna take the win that day, and knowing it was my first national title was super exciting. My husband was out there watching me.
That's great.
I had a bunch of, runner friends who were cheering, and so I really just tried to soak it all in. I was lucky
Validation
that
of
I
battling
wasn't.
through those injuries and
Listen,
stuff, like, that's, like, full
Totally.
validation right there.
And I think you brought up an amazing point about being adaptable. Like you had this race plan, and it was out the window, and a lot of people, if their race plan goes out, they panic. So being adaptable, and just being able to kind of say, all right, not what I thought, and being able to, like, all right, now I'm out in front, I'm just gonna go. So, like, everything changed. But I think that adaptability is crucial.
So how
Yeah,
much
that's
do
a
you
skill that
how
a
much do
lot
you
of.
plan for that? Yeah, how much do you plan for that with the coach of, "This is our plan, but if this happens, what do I do? If this happens, what do we do?" Do you kind of, as a pro, really go into it, especially knowing the competition that's there and what could happen? Because we talked a little earlier, and we talked about this from Worlds, some of those races were downright embarrassing, and, the distance level where they weren't elite level times. They weren't world standard times. They didn't look good on the screen. They couldn't
They were
have
high
looked
school
great in
pace.
person.
Yeah.
And for me, what bothers me is 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Americans had to compete that way, right? Like, your better runners, especially your Africans and some of your Eastern Europeans, were dictating the pace, period, because they were the cream of the crop. We couldn't compete.
Mhm.
It's such a different animal now where
Mhm.
we can compete with anyone in the world. So it
Just go, like,
pisses me
go.
off
Yeah.
to watch us still keeping that mentality of, if it's not going at an honest pace, we can't do it. So
Mhm.
do you have those conversations with coaches, especially, like, maybe not in, like, your smaller races, but in these bigger races of, this is the competition. If they do X, I want to try and respond with Y. And is
Yeah.
that really a thing that goes into it?
Yeah, I think, I practice a lot of visualization, and so, like, practicing in my head, closing my eyes and trying to figure out different scenarios that I might run into. But I think the biggest thing that I've definitely fall victim to in the past is getting too caught up in what other people are doing. And I
Yes.
think,
Really
when
do
we're
that.
looking
Yes.
at race plans, and this is probably a skill that a lot of high school level and collegiate level athletes, even pros, could take into consideration, is like, when you're making race plans, think about the things that you can control, and you
Correct.
can't control anyone else. And so, yeah, you can think about, like, if this person goes and they're running way faster than you had planned, like, that is maybe something you should take into consideration, but think about your effort and what you can do. And so I'm typically not thinking about other people. I'm just, like, constantly checking in with myself and saying, okay, like, a pace has surged. Check in with myself. Can I hang? Yeah, let's go. Like, my goal
That's
is to,
good.
like,
Yeah, it's
do the
smart.
best I can. So I have
Yeah.
to go, whatever it is.
And
I would
they're
say that.
planning for you too. I think that's what
Sure.
people need to
Mhm.
Yeah,
realize,
well,
especially, like, your
yes.
elite high schoolers and stuff, especially,
Yeah.
but every level, like,
Yeah,
you might be
100%.
looking at them, but they're
I was gonna say
planning
that.
for you too.
Yep.
And it's like,
Mhm.
and you're Carrie freaking Ellwood. Whenever you enter a race, people are looking at going like, crap, Carrie's here. Okay. I'm gonna have to
Yeah, like,
add that to my thing. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think people need to realize, and a lot of the
they
people
don't
that we interview, it's always so
they
funny because
forget.
it's like, I feel like so many elites have that out of body experience where they're curious, like, do I belong? But it's like, of course
Mhm.
you do. You've earned the right
Mhm.
to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's funny, like how much time other people spend on other athletes, and they don't
Mhm.
even, but they can't even fathom that other athletes are doing the same thing
yeah.
about them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
it's
Totally.
wild.
but I would say that's one reason why I love to go into high school when I did in the 90s, there was no social media, there was no Strava, there was like
Yes.
there were some races where I mean, and I was very, 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 very astute and like kind of knew what I could, but there were still races that I would go in and be like, I don't know anybody in this race, and kind of it was kind of nice because I didn't know if this kid was supposed to beat me or if I was supposed to beat them or if they ran 3 seconds faster. Like now, every kid is so dialed. Like, I mean, I don't know any kid who doesn't look at the start list before every race and just oh, this kid's in my heat. Oh, I'm in the second. Like I didn't know.
I watch his Strava. He's so good.
Yeah,
It's like, no, go away.
So I mean, so it is great that we have all these things out there, but it's also can just add so much more pressure to, especially
100%.
to like the high school kids and stuff who are like, you know,
because, totally.
So here's a question for you. Are you at the point where does time still matter, or do you just go into races trying to win the actual race? I feel like everything now is a time trial, and people don't realize like the art of racing is like no one cares if they're 10th place, but they run a PR. Like, does that matter to you? Because I know sponsorships look at that, or are you like, I just want to win this race?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of stopped doing track, to be perfectly honest, is because in the past 5 years, I've seen it transition from like, let's just race and see who wins on the day to just time trials. Yeah. And it's, you know, sometimes that's fun. It is fun to get a PR and to say I ran this time and that's a really good time, right? But that's why I think I like road racing the most, is because yes, you can talk about PRs like a marathon PR, half marathon PR, but at the end of the day, you just want to win. And I think that has brought so much fun to the table. And so, yeah, typically like I have race goals, time goals for like my half marathon coming up, but I just want to win.
But listen, you know, which is crazy because like road racing sets it up that way where the emphasis is on racing because there's prize money. Like you're not like first place gets more money than second place and third. So whereas as in track, it's like it's all about time. Like there are kids now in high school who don't even. It's like the first question is, what do you run? What is your PR? Not like how'd you do in that race? Doesn't matter.
I think the training and the effort's a little different too, right? Because the furthest you're going on the track is 6.2, right? It's 6.2 miles. It's long, but it's not compared to a half where you're running 13. So you're putting in all this work, all this effort. You're not going to go dog 13 miles. No one's going to go dog 13 miles. They want to go out and they want to put and the thing is, you want to put your own training to the test, right? I think everyone wants to test themselves. There's very few people that have that super air of confidence about them that they know that if they go slow, everyone's going to go slow with them, right? Like there are very few runners I feel like in that level, in that circuit of half and marathon,
just that in the men's 10K.
But it's different in 10K. It's just, but it, you know, from a distance runner's perspective, it's just 6 miles, right? That is fast. 6 miles is a fast race as compared to your 13, your 26 and everything in between. So I feel like just the training and the, you know, like you said, Carrie, there's just 2 XC races. There's only 7 big marathons and you're not racing in all 7. So you have to pick and choose. And when you get there, you better show out, right? So it's like, you have to show out when you get the chance to go to your peak race because
and to
get paid. But if not, you don't know if, you know, you don't want to try and go slower because just in case, but you don't know what everyone else is doing because you don't know all their other training. So I just feel like it's just a different mentality of when I have to get on the road and run this race. I've been training my ass off for 6 months. I've been running all these smaller races to get me ready. I'm going all out. And I know everyone else around me is going to do that as well. So I think it just keeps it more honest where you are.
Totally.
I also feel too that it's harder to pace on the roads because, you know, track, you're going around the same spot all the time. Like you know, roads, like someone makes a move, you don't know, like it can get away from you a lot quicker than it can on a track. Like, you know, 100 meters lead is this on a track. But on the, like sometimes when I'm watching the marathon, I'm like, oh, they're right behind him, and then they turn the camera angle, like, oh no,
it's such a different. It's like
they are 25 seconds back.
It's wild. It is crazy. Yeah, so that is true.
I do think that like it's easier to keep pace on a track than it is roads because you just you're just going around and it's the same landmarks every time. Whereas on the roads, you're like, especially on a course that you might not know.
So Dave, that's a really good point. When you're running these halves and these marathons, and I know in track, it's a big deal to keep contact, right? You don't want to, because it's really demoralizing when that person's getting away and you're watching them on the other side of the track.
Absolutely.
What is the difference in mindset when you do see somebody surge in a 13-mile race, a 26-mile race, and knowing that, okay, there's a chance they hold it.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm going to reel them in. Like, is there kind of like a mentality
it's not like a mile
when somebody goes, it's like, you know what? Good for you. If you can hold that, more power to you. I'm hoping to reel you in. You did it too soon. If you hold that, awesome. Like,
I would think though, like, especially someone of a Carrie's caliber, that like, if someone goes that you don't know, chances are they're going to come back pretty darn quick. But if it's someone that you know who all of a sudden changes it up and puts in a move, you can't really. You have to watch it, but you know that you still have time to make it up. Whereas when you're running a mile on that track and someone goes, you can't give up that much ground because it's such a short race. So it's contact. I feel is not as important, and I mean you don't want to get too far back, but you have more time to make up for things.
Yeah, definitely in the longer races. I'd say, like, I'd argue that in a half marathon, you still want to keep contact if you're trying to win.
Yeah, because 13 is pretty quick.
You always want to keep contact.
Long. Yeah, 13 is not that long.
You always want to keep contact.
Not that long for a distance runner, right? An hour plus isn't very long.
But for things like a marathon, you see that all the time where someone's feeling good and it's mile 8 of a marathon and you gamble. That's like the racing tactics, right? Like you maybe aren't feeling good. Sometimes it works. A lot of times people come back, but sometimes they totally don't. And so those are risks that you have to take in the race. And check in with yourself, see, can I stick with that girl? Can I not? And it's always just a gamble.
So in those situations, if you're like in a pack with other women that you know pretty well, you compete against, and someone makes a move that's like out of the norm, do you guys kind of take a second to look at each other and go like, if we just work together, we'll reel her in? Like, do you take a moment to kind of look at each other and just be like, is this part of the plan? It's part of your plan. Let's just reel her in. Like, is there a moment where you guys kind of work together in that time to let's use each other, let her go. Let's use each other. Cause I'd imagine again, there's gotta be some of that camaraderie of we're all doing 26 grueling miles. So even though we're competing, we're still trying to work together to get ourselves. And then after we all hit the wall at mile 14 through 18, everyone for themselves, right? The last few, but it's like, is there that mentality and even some of that time, maybe a little bit of chatter of like, she just went, what, like, should we respond? Like, let's work together. Like, do you have some of those moments?
That happens all the time in marathon racing. Typically, like the women, I'm speaking for the women, I don't know about the men, but for the women are, all of our agents come together and we have like a meeting the night before the race and we talk about who's going with what pacer and what paces we're trying to hit. And so we all kind of know, and that happens a lot where someone will break off and we kind of look at each other. It's marathoning, so you can kind of like chat a little bit while you're
the early miles. I'd imagine you can have some chats. Like, as you get more tired, that's less, but I'd imagine the earlier miles you can kind of talk a little bit.
And there'll be glances and conversation where we're like, let's reel her in, or like just let her go. She's going off and doing something crazy today, right? That happens all the time.
And like, say like someone's hurting, I'd imagine that was there. Would they like say like, hey, don't worry about me, like type of thing? Like sometimes. I'm falling off, like,
hell no.
Like, don't wait. I don't know. Cause I think I've seen it sometimes where like, even in the med side, certain guys, like as they're dropping off, especially if they're from the same country and they compete a lot together, you'll kind of see that little notion of, I know I can't go anymore. Like, just go. Like, I'm not a part of this plan anymore type of thing. Does that happen at times too? When like, someone just knows they don't have it at that point, and
it does. That doesn't happen as frequently. Typically, people will just stop talking and kind of fall off the back.
And you know that, and at that point,
that would probably happen more. I would think in like worlds or like where there's like a team aspect,
possibly. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we should do a whole like 2 hours with Carrie about like the mentality of every point of a marathon. Like, I feel like that could be a fun like oval table, Hyatt, if we get a bunch of marathoners here and we just have them not only talk about nothing like tactics, but like the mentality of every phase of the race and the feelings, like having you guys go and tell us how you guys break up marathon races, right? Because I feel like that could be just a big like nerd session of us just all talking and me and Dave learning about marathons.
That'd be great.
Because neither of us are marathoners, but I feel like that's so fascinating because I'd imagine like we break up phases on the track, you guys probably break up phases of the marathon as well. do you split it into 4s as if everything else, or is there more than 4 phases typically?
Typically, people split it into 5Ks just because every 5K
Smart,
there's
makes
a
sense.
fluid station.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that
yeah,
makes
so
sense.
that's typically what people do, but
See?
everyone's a little different.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
learn something new every day. So last thing I want to really ask you before, because I'm we can go forever on this, but I don't want to take up all of your time here. What made you decide to go for XC? Because, like you said, sometimes that's a little different. Your training might have to change up a little. You may have to, forego something that maybe you've done in the
Mhm.
past. What made you decide to kind of take a break from the roads and go for this XC national title?
Yeah. This past year, I had done the New York Marathon last year,
Hmm.
and cross country was coming up. It was a little too soon, but I just wanted to put something on the calendar, and cross country is so fun. So I was
It
like,
is.
why not? And then this year I'm choosing to do cross instead of a marathon because
Nice.
a world's team is at
That's still
stake. And
fun.
so yeah,
And
I just competing for
and
the US is great. So making a world's team would be great.
and it's freaking cross country. Like it's the cool. Like I can't
I
believe that
agree.
that more pros don't want to run cross country. It's so fun.
So are you going to go to Europe and do some of the European races for this to gear yourself up? Is that in the cards?
No, I'm just going to do a half marathon and then just do a lot of grass work in training to get ready for it.
So can you enter? Are there any of like collegiate invites that are open invites that you could potentially enter? Because I know some of them, like on the track, there's a lot of
Oh,
like your
sure.
BU races. The pros are in there all the time.
Mhm.
Is that the same thing with cross country for the collegiate races? Like, can you go to some of these major 8Ks, 10Ks, and just go and run with these cross country kids and maybe just do a workout with them, right? Like, not
Yeah,
necessarily trying to go blow their doors off, but like tempo with some of the top girls and stuff. Like,
I
is that
actually
something you could do?
I have no idea. That's
Let's
not
go.
something
Let's
that
get you a
We'll
racing
see.
plan. Let's do
yeah.
it.
I don't know if they do it in cross because it's all like NCAA sanctioned, whereas a meet like at BU is just it's BU
Yeah,
running the actual meet. So I don't know how that works. But I mean,
So,
yeah,
first of
Dave
all,
Alfano, Trials of
any
Miles. Let's go. Let's get some of this
yeah.
stuff going. Come on.
any meet director who Carrie called and wouldn't let her run, unless it's like something that she's not like allowed to,
Well, I can
would
imagine conferences,
just be a
regions, but if
fool.
it's an invite, like if it's
Yeah,
an
Yeah, you
invite,
think
let's go.
they normally
Like,
have an open section,
sure.
so
yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Well, I can imagine the Paul Short over in Penn State. They
uh-huh.
probably do it because they have the open section. They have like the
Yeah,
different like
yeah.
things. Like I can imagine. Like maybe I gave you an idea, fitting in, see if you could find some of
I
those
know,
and
that'd be great.
get some course racing on your legs before you go into Worlds. Just
Yeah,
don't let any other cross country person go into Worlds hear that. Just you.
yeah,
I
just me.
just want you to have that secret. So are you finding that a lot more women that typically would be in the marathon scene are dropping down for Worlds to try and make this team? Like, is this when that starts to flood up and it starts to get a little more crowded in this scene when the Worlds comes around because everyone wants to put USA on their
Yeah.
chest?
I think there's probably a lot of people who are doing Chicago because
Hmm.
it's enough time,
Got it.
who will double back and try to make the world cross team. And I've also heard of a lot of track racers who are trying to
Yeah, a
make the
lot of
Well,
world
them are
here's
cross
what
trying to
team.
do it.
they know you won, so they're all coming for you now.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it.
So I
And
wonder if one of our other guests, if you know if Kira Diamato is going, because she was one of our other guests, and I could see Kira trying to go
I could
after
see
that.
her. Yeah,
And
I totally
Kira's
could.
awesome, man.
She
She's
is.
have you
over
competed
40 and
against
just still
Kira
just
before?
rocking it, man.
Yeah, a
She's
number of
just rocking
times.
it.
Yeah,
She's
yeah. No, it's fun, but this is one of those sports too where the respect is a big thing, right? Like the respect of doing it. Now, Dave knows I wish there was more animosity. I wish when we brought up Kira's name, like you had like a guttural like or like because
Yeah,
I think we need more. No, I love Kira, but I think we need a little more animosity on our sport. I think that'll be
I
good like
agree.
things if we can get a snippet going like so and so is going and Carrie Ellwood snippet is like
I
I
just
know
think
I beat her before. I'm gonna do it
it's
again. She's not
it's
a
just
challenge.
so
Like
it's
let's go.
Yeah,
I think it has to come more sprinters stuff. It's just not in a distance runner's DNA.
No,
But
but
I
that's what I
yeah.
said
listen,
before.
that's why we've said it before. We love Jakob and the Kerr going at it, man. It's the
Mhm.
best.
No, but what we need to do is we need to make it fake. I don't care if it's fake and it's manufactured. Like you need to call one of your friends that you know we're going to be there and say, "Hey, I'm going to talk some ish on Flow Track. I promise you, it's theater. Talk back. Can we just make some more intrigue so that ESPN can be like
Whoa.
at the
That'd be
World Cross
good.
Country Championships? We might have
After
a cat
months of
fight.
trash
Yeah,
talking, Carrie
we might
Ellwood
have a
held
cat
off
fight
her biggest
between the
rival.
the USATF XC champion of 2025 and blah 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 from whoever wins Chicago. If you know them or the top American finisher, call them up and be like, let's start WWE level trash talk
Let's
now.
go.
And
Yeah.
let's make sure that we make every sports thing so that all eyes are on XC World Qualifiers.
Listen.
It's a great idea.
Let's go. I've been saying it for times. Like, I don't care if it's really mean. Like, start talking trash and just like make sure you tell each other what you're going to say every time, so no lines are crossed. But then like do that, and then like do the whole entire after the race. Like, I respect her. You know, it is what it is, but I still respect her. She did great. Like,
yeah,
we need this. We need this.
Yeah,
I'll get eyes on our sport. So,
like in UFC, they talk trash, fight, and then hug it out. Yeah,
it's true.
And then we can get Chavez involved from what you call it, Sidious, and he could do a one-on-one with each of you in the same place, or
Love it.
Or we could bring you on Talking in Ovals. We could bring you both on. You're in different places, remote, and we can like set you guys up against each other. Let's do this. I'm in. Then they can go back to this episode and be like, they're all fakes. They talked about it live, what they were going to do. So last question for you. And I think I know which one's out, but I'm curious between the other two. What is your favorite to compete on? The track, the course, or the road?
Probably the roads.
Roads.
Yeah. It's fun.
I love it.
I'd say track is third for you, right?
Probably. But you know, if you're really fit and you can like rip it around a track, competing on the track is so fun.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you just know what it is.
It's
like
speed. Yeah.
It's just run, turn left, run, turn left, run, turn left.
So good.
So my last question. I know I keep saying last question, but I'll say it 19 more times. But my real last question to you, and the last question that we finish off with most of our guests. How do we, if you had a magic wand and you could make a change to our sport, the sport of athletics, how would you change it in order to get more eyes on our sport, more casual fans, more people to sit there and make sure that our national champion, Carrie Ellwood, is a absolute millionaire and never has to worry about anything else for the rest of her life? Because you should. You're a national champion. You are a bona fide professional. Yeah. What would you change about our sport to get us there if you could make one major change? Any change?
I would somehow like, this is a really good question. I think just having more visibility to the athletes themselves. Yeah. And so maybe that's like, if you get a sponsorship, you get like someone to come like vlog for you or like show the behind the scenes. I feel like that would bring a lot of people, the storylines would bring a lot of people in. And I don't think the way we're portraying track meets or road racing is showing any of the athletes' storylines. And I think being able to do that would bring a lot more fans in.
Agreed.
So we need more people to listen and watch Talking in
all these Colorado.
We bring those here, baby.
All these Colorado people have such great things. Like Sarah Slattery was sports betting. Put us on DraftKings. Put us on there, and boom.
That's good.
You know.
Yeah.
I love
There's
it.
a lot of good. But speaking of good, Carrie Ellwood is damn good. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Carrie. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
So once again, she is Carrie Ellwood. She is the 2025 USATF XC National Champion. She is, I did not know, the 25K American record holder. That's friggin' dope. And you will find her at the World Qualifiers to try and represent the United States. And I think she has a very, very good chance.
And possibly at a few college cross-country meets.
Yeah, I'm hoping we could find that. So honestly, see, California has so many good ones too, and great courses. See,
even if you don't do it, you know, because it doesn't fit your training, just let us know if it's even possible.
Totally.
Yeah, see if you could probe that and find out. And I could imagine, like Dave said, if you're a race director,
why would you?
You're sitting there and you're like, okay, here
this
comes
the national champion. This is the national champion. Like,
here comes the men's Washington team on one side, and then Carrie Ellwood is competing as the top collegiate women here. Like, what are we doing? Why not?
It's because it makes sense, and so many people in our sport that are high up don't like to do things that make sense. And that's the part that I can't grasp. Like, we have so many great ideas on this show that'll never come to fruition.
They will. We'll make it happen.
Because those up top, they don't think anything's wrong. So,
and we invite them on the show so they can talk to us about it. We want them. Please. We want to have them come on, have the conversation with who is it at USATF? Max Siegel. Max, let's go, Max. Come on the show. Talk to us, Max. You're always welcome. We'll be respectful. We'll be cordial, 100%. But we will figure out what the hell's wrong with our sport and how we can all work together to make it work. So, and that's all of athletics, not just on the track.
It is not the athletes. It is not the athletes. They are not the problem.
No, they are not. So once again, go ahead, Dave.
Go.
No, finish out. So what do you guys say? Go for it.
It's not the athletes, but the athletes, some of them do have to do a better job of showing up.
Yes, when you're committed
But
to
not
a meet, go there. Anyway, but I digress.
But not Jefferson. She's cool.
Everyone else but Jefferson, I guess. Everyone else. Anyway, we're going full circle here, but we appreciate everyone that watched, listened, wherever you watch and listen from. Please make sure, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm not going to go crazy over everywhere we are at. And we'll be back next week with another fun guest. We appreciate everyone for watching and listening. So long, y'all. Bye.